Here we go. Subo.
Hey, nice to meet you again.
We're in Vegas.
Yeah, I know, we're in Vegas.
I know. The energy here, outside and inside, is off the charts.
Yeah, while it's steaming outside, it's all the steaming here at Blackout.
It's a warm one, triple digits.
Yeah.
So at least it's cool in here, but the vibe is good. A lot of innovation, a lot of research, a lot of cool stuff happening. I'm excited to talk to you about all the stuff you're doing with Stellar Cyber and the Human-Augmented autonomous SOC.
Absolutely.
Really sounds really cool, so I'm excited to learn more about that. A few words about yourself before we dig in, your role at the company.
Sure. So I'm part of Stellar Cyber. I'm the Senior Vice President of Product, so I'm responsible for all product directions and strategies, and some of the things we announced at the RSA as well as here are kind of what we're showing off.
So maybe give us an overview of the company, just maybe like the quick elevator pitch, and then we'll talk about the announcements. And then I want to dig in to understand how they fit into it, the existing SOC, maybe some of the changes and the outcomes that come from them.
So Stellar Cyber has a security operations platform. It's a unified platform, but we talk about it as it's open, it's human, it's unified. Meaning you don't have to have multiple tools to do the security operation. It's all completely unified. And what we announced this year was the concept of autonomous SOC, which is the next generation of automation, as well as more focused around human-augmented, because we truly don't believe that you can just turn the lights off and everything works well, right? So it's a very interactive, making the SOC analyst more intelligent. That's why we call it, here, human-augmented, right? So that we can make the SOC more intelligent and learning, but it can interact with the SOC analyst to make it more augmented decisions.
So the decision to do that, I think from a tech company building stuff, it's easy to say I want to build tech and put innovations out there to take workload off the analyst. But tell me about the thought process behind augmenting the SOC with humans, because it's a slightly different message than I'm hearing from others.
Yeah, so, and just to kind of, with the lead in terms of how our platform works, we have 3 layers. One is the layer of how we ingest. We can ingest any threat source, whether it's a network device, whether it's an application, whether it's an identity that we need to protect, as well as the endpoints. So one of the things we pride is we're an open EDR, meaning we don't restrict you to one EDR versus the other, right?
Okay.
So if you have Sophos, if you have ESET, if you have CrowdStrike, we integrate. And our entire platform is AI driven, meaning we take all the alerts, the AI kicks in to be able to take the alerts into cases. So we're extremely case centric. Now your question in terms of how is the human part of this? In the traditional SOC tools, traditionally SEC operation divisions had to hire a lot of SOC analysts to go through thousands of alerts to figure out which ones are true positives versus false positives. Because you can get thousands of false positives, but it takes a human a lot of time. That's why we introduced the autonomous SOC concept, which is auto triage. So triage is all the alerts, all the cases, and focus only the one that you need to be focused on. But we don't just give you a response, we interact with the human. So we also introduced this concept of a co-pilot, which is AI investigator, which is available, which is something we also announced.
Okay.
And it interacts with the human. And when it interacts with the human, it tries to figure out, is it truly an issue? Or what should be the action? So we make the system learn, it becomes an intelligent system by these agentic AIs talking to the human and making the system more intelligent.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that some of the AI work that you're doing in the ingestion and creating the cases, do you also help translate that into human understandable
so natural language. So you can interact in natural language.
Right.
So you don't have to know exactly how, you don't have to be a programmer to talk to the system, right?
Which in a lot of cases, analysts have to be engineers and write code.
And the other thing is it's all integrated. It's not like you have to learn and work in one screen and then go to another screen. It's all integrated into our platform. And the AI layer basically does all the detections and correlations to synthesize where you should focus. And then the autonomous SOC on top has the intelligence to even further auto triage. So whether it's a phishing email attack, which is something we've announced here, or if it's a major case, you go down from thousands of cases down to hundreds to the few that you need to focus on, but it continually interacts. And the human can also ask in plain English, right? Okay, show me all the impossible travel that has happened between midnight and 4 a.m., right? And you'll be able to gather that information. The AI will be able to understand and pull that. So the whole idea is make it simple, but make it intelligent, so that especially the mid-sized customers of MSSPs don't have to hire a lot of junior analysts. We want to have junior analysts become senior analysts, focusing on the more core issues, and let the platform do all the magic in terms of the resolution.
So talk to me a bit about that interaction where the intelligence is driven by the analyst, and the analyst has the insight from the platform to help them guide the autonomy,
typically,
right?
if you look at any of our customers, whether it's an enterprise or an MSSP, they have kind of tiers of analysts, right? You have the senior analysts who are the most experienced, and then you have the junior analysts who are kind of slogging day in, day out, hour after hour, trying to understand all these different alerts. We're trying to eliminate that busy work with this agentic framework as well as with our AI capabilities. And that reduces the number of hours and number of people you need. But it is intelligent with the agentic AI that it gives you more clarity why we score something high versus low. So you can focus on the high alerts with more detailed information, and then you can interact with it to clarify, okay, did we cover all the things we should be worried about? And then our response activity, you can do different things, like you want to block an IP, block a user because of a phishing attack.
See, one thing that I think about often is if you're basically resetting what entry level, what junior level is, if you're doing that busy work, but the understanding of that layer of analyst work.
And automating the tasks.
But traditionally an analyst learns that stuff and then moves on to the next level. How do you help them ensure that they maintain that knowledge that's now being done autonomously for them, so they continue to be intelligent at the next level?
I mean, there's always this fear AI is going to displace workers. That's not what's happening here. What we're trying to do is automate a lot of the mundane but detailed tasks, so even the junior analyst can become a senior more faster, and you don't have to hire hundreds of junior analysts because of the volume of ingestion of alerts and cases, right? So you don't lose the onboarding and knowledge base you need to know to how to do security operations. You just do it more smarter, right? You don't have to do 10 tasks, you only have to do 3. But those 3 are the most critical to make a decision.
Got it. Can you describe one or two, you don't have to name company names, but a case where their traditional SOC before Stellar Cyber, autonomous SOC comes in, and what that day looks like, or that case looks like, versus one now, and as much detail as you can provide, like this breach was initiated by this, and some research had to be done, and tracking back, whatever it is.
So typically what we've seen is, in 2-3 years ago, you have to, based on the volume of alerts and cases, you had to proportionally hire the number of SOC analysts.
Just to work through those.
Yeah, just to support, because the customers want to know immediately what's going on. Only way you can be more responsive is put more bodies to solve the problem. What we see now is our MSSPs are getting smarter with that platform, and they're tuning the platform to do things faster. So if you had like 100,000 alerts, to get down to thousands, as I talked about, it would probably take a week, or weeks, right? Now they're doing it within days, and so they don't have to hire as many junior analysts. So there's a reduction in terms of what they need to do to scale, because scaling is good, right? Meaning they're getting more customers, they're getting more revenue, which we like, right? But what we're making them is smarter and then more efficient, right? That's the key thing. So we're just seeing more efficiencies with our customers.
Got it. And then, so the outcomes of that, so the efficiency, what are they focusing more on? Are they turning it to more?
They're focusing more on automation, how to do better response, and how to reduce the time to fix a problem, right? So it's more about getting towards the results-oriented versus trying to do the needle in a haystack problem.
Got it. And when they're reporting to So the team, the manager of the SOC reporting to the CISO, for example, how are they reporting that success and measuring it? Is it?
The good thing is, because we're able to create the visualization of what's important as well as alerts to cases, to what's the most, we call it verdicts, right? So what the execs now focus on is how many high verdict things should we be focusing on. So the communication also becomes much more faster. And you don't have to really do formal communication, it's all visualized in the platform. So that also improves the time to market in terms of communication back to the CISOs.
Absolutely.
And the CISO will also be able to know exactly when there's an issue. The agentic AI will give more descriptive information through the AI technology that they'll have much more confidence. Okay, that is the right path. I want to do X, Y, Z steps to stop the attack.
Got it. So talk to me a bit about the identity piece that I think you're also talking about.
Yeah, so we also did an announcement around ITDR. We actually have a very strong user analytics, UEBA capability in the platform. We also have ITDR, right? So we wanted to make sure all our partners as well as prospects knew that identity is central to our platform. We don't sell another product like other vendors do. It's integrated, and it's integrated in terms of, it's not just important like where the attack happened, like at an endpoint or a network, but what happened, who's the person attacking, right? So we announced, for example, the auto triage for phishing, which is always the first door entry to money-back things. And then with our capability, not only can you identify if there was an issue, right? There was an attack or somebody changed passwords or reset passwords that the admin didn't do, but once they enter, the problem is really the lateral movement. So then they start going into other networks and others. So we have a concept which is very popular in security, is impossible travel. Somebody logged in from Portland, 11 p.m., 11:30 they're logging in from Moscow. We know the guy couldn't be in Moscow in 30 minutes, right? So those types of use cases, identity is now becoming the new perimeter. It's not important just to stop them when they enter, but also understand what's happening once they enter and how to prevent that and put a stop to that. So we think ITDR is a core foundational pillar of our platform. We talk about, we have SIM, which is our next generation SIM. We have the capability to do threat hunting and response. Now we're saying we're going to put a spotlight on identity because we think that's a key concern of our customers that they have.
And with that, the behavior.
Yes.
Which clearly AI kind of analyzing that.
So ITDR and UABA, which is behavior analytics, is all integrated. We'll know who the suspect is. We'll understand if they're a trusted version because we integrate with the traditional IDPs like Oktas and all the other Azure, Entra ID and all the different IDPs. So we know who's trusted and who's not. We're all integrated, but then we understand what the security bad things are happening to prevent it.
And in terms of identity, what's the scope of the identity? Humans, do you look at machines as well?
That's a good point. Identity can be human or it can be non-human. One of the biggest trends why we think identity is a problem, people are now using LLMs, like a lot of the hackers, and just creating lots of different credential attacks much faster than anybody could do. So it could be a human attack or a non-human attack. So the threat has become even more exaggerated, that there could be more potential, people trying to enter your network. Especially with the Gen AI technologies, it's making it easier for hackers to create more credential and attack capabilities. So identity becomes even more critical.
So we have a couple minutes left here. We're going to go back and forth between the two. We'll start with the identity piece because we're right there. I'm wondering, it's going to be the same question for ITDR as well as the autonomous SOC, but what are some signals that CISOs and their team should look for to say, we need to look at identity and or this autonomous or our SOC operations differently, or maybe there's a signal missing that will flag that they need to change the way they're operating?
So every CISO wants to make sure they can be able to look at every point of surface attack. So the platform that they're looking at needs to be able to look at the whole spectrum of where the threat could come from an endpoint, from a network, from a server, application, in the cloud, right? So other thing is you want to be able to be flexible. This is why we pride ourselves that we have an open EDR technology.
Right.
So if the customer likes CrowdStrike or they like one of our strategic partners, ESET, they have the choice to pick the right EDR. And then if they are able to switch if they need to, or mix and match as they need to. So the main point is the CISO is looking for, can I get all surface attacks, including identity? Second is they want, it's all about time, right? How fast can you solve an issue and keep their customers up and running, especially in MSSP. So having a unified platform, they don't have to learn multiple tools and different ways to do the entire security operations. That's where we believe we have the strength. All of our capabilities are unified and integrated. We don't try to nickel and dime sell you multiple products. We believe you should have a unified security operation capability. And then on top of what we call our birthday cake is the icing is the autonomous SOC. We now go into hyper automation to be able to identify and auto triage things faster, whether it's a phishing email or it's a case, and then be able to do response very, very quickly. So that's what a CISO is looking for.
Yeah.
Make sure they can see all types of attacks, including identity, be able to analyze it and detect it, correlate it, and then automation helps them improve their effectiveness to solve things faster.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Like, I mean, even since RSA, you guys continue to innovate.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
That's an important thing, and I presume you get a lot of feedback and interaction with your customers to help you shape some of these technologies.
So we're a fast-moving company. We were built from the ground up from day one to be AI-based, and so we're very fortunate to be ahead of the curve. We've always innovate. In everything we do, we always question how can we innovate to be better, which is why we announced the agentic AI very quickly, and it's coming to market and it's integrated into our platform.
Awesome. Well, Subo, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Absolutely.
Great to hear about the innovations and the outcomes that are driven from it.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody listening connects with Subo and the Stellar Cyber team. And look for those efficiencies. Look for all those attacks you're trying to identify, and be able to communicate that to the executive team in a more effective manner, so that you can measure and talk about how your operations are actually helping the business. So thanks everybody for listening. To connect with Subo and the Stellar Cyber team, follow all of our coverage at ITSPmagazine.com/BHUSA25 for all things here from Vegas and Black Hat. Subo, thanks so much.
Pleasure.